Welcome to an RFL special presentation. Nazism, it is spreading across Europe. In Germany alone, more than 180 people have been killed in right-wing attacks over the past 20 years. Nazis have killed more people in post-war Germany than any other single group. In Greece, the ultra-right-wing fascist party Golden Dawn is ascendant. It is now Greece's third strongest and fastest growing political party. In Hungary, the fascist Jobbik party is the third largest in the Hungarian parliament. People, the fever is spreading, and it is spreading fast. So we begin tonight in the small Baltic nation of Latvia. It is with a very clear example of how history can become distorted and how the past can all too soon be forgotten. Americans, they're used to seeing Holocaust remembrances, but we honor the memory of the victims. On March 16th, in Riga, Latvia, there was a different kind of memorial. There, the assembled people, they gathered to honor the perpetrators. There was a large parade and a wreath laying for the Latvian Legion of the Waffen-SS, an organization operated under the direction of Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party during World War II. The Waffen-SS committed countless atrocities and was declared a criminal organization by the International Military Tribunal during the Nuremberg trials. They are the ones who were celebrated this year in Latvia. Now, Richard Brodsky, former New York State Assemblyman, senior fellow at Demos, professor at NYU, and a frequent contributor to this program, he was there, and he joins us now with his account of what he saw with his own eyes.
That's right, Rich. I was there as part of an international monitoring delegation. For some Latvians, March 16th is the day they honor the surviving members of the Waffen-SS. Past and present collide, and to American eyes, it appears shocking. This is no ordinary parade. It's a tribute to veterans of the Latvian Waffen-SS, volunteer militias accused of killing many of the 70,000 Jews who lived in Latvia before World War II. The precise numbers murdered in Latvia are in dispute, but they're large and horrific. Some say as few as 50,000, others as many as 500,000 when you include 20,000 Jews from Central Europe who had been deported to Riga. The Rombola killing fields is just a 20-minute drive from Riga. At that site, 30,000 Jews, gypsies, and mentally ill people were forced into a pit and shot. The Salaspils concentration camp, where thousands more perished, is also nearby. The exact role of the Latvian Legion of the Waffen-SS has been hotly debated. Some say the Latvians joined forces with the Germans to oppose the Soviet regime imposed by Moscow. Others say they volunteered to fight alongside the Nazis and even committed war crimes. Some were drafted, some were soldiers, some were active members of death squads. What is clear is that on March 16th, Nazism was glorified. There go the kikes again, he said. I hadn't expected to hear those words again from an old man in an SS uniform, a man who himself might have been at the killing field I had visited the day before. I hadn't expected to see marchers with swastika-like insignia. It wasn't just the surviving legionnaires on parade, it was the younger generation and the members of parliament who come out to support their Waffen-SS veterans. 3 deputies of the Latvian parliament even broke through a police barricade to tear apart pictures of Nazi concentration camp victims. This makes no sense to American eyes. To us, Nazis are portrayed as nothing but evil. But the lesson of Riga is that these aren't fringe organizations. They're moving into the mainstream, electing members of parliament across Europe, staging violent street demonstrations, attacking immigrants, Jews, gypsies, and gays, just like the bad old days.
You know, Richard, when we set this up, people may have picked up, we said Nazis, not neo-Nazis, and that wasn't an inadvertent reference. Explain the distinction and why that distinction is so important.
Well, what's gone on in Europe is now much more than people imitating the bad guys. They are carrying out the same kinds of deeds, the same kinds of brutality, the same ideology that caused eventually World War II. It does us no good to pretend there's something smaller, weaker, or milder. These aren't Hogan's Heroes. These are the real items, and it's important we identify them as that. The best way I can convey the experiences was it was terribly disorienting. It wasn't just that you went to a monument and stood on the bones of 40,000 dead people. It's that there were people in the uniforms of the assassins and the murderers repeating phrases that could have come in the middle of the atrocity. For an American, it's disorienting. You don't know what to say. You don't know what to do. But this was clear. It's got to be identified for what it is, called by its name, pointed at, and stopped.
Now, you've done a lot, not just in Latvia. You went to Russia. You've been to other spaces and places that this is not some fringe group in the basement, you know, under the cloak of darkness. They're in parliaments now. They're growing in scope. And just give a quick history lesson. We've made mistakes before when we've marginalized these people, and then they've come and grown all too fast. And then we later on said, how could we have let this happen? It's happening in small ways, but it's happening again.
It's not such small ways. They're in parliaments. They're in Hungary. They're in Greece. They're in France. They're in England. They're in Russia. They're in the Ukraine. If never again means anything, it means that we're not going to make the mistake that was made in the 30s. Better we're too concerned and find out we didn't have to be, than pretending that it isn't a serious threat and finding out too late that it is. Vigilance is the lesson of World War II, and vigilance is what this movement is all about.
Thank you very much, Richard. Our journey, it began in Latvia, but it did not stop there. Is this happening elsewhere? And if it is, to what extent? When we come back, we're going to show you how an alleged neo-Nazi cell in Germany managed to go on a killing spree for years undetected. And you'll hear from the activists from across Europe who are saying that the past, it is returning. So please stay with us.